You believe you are being efficient? Multiple tabs open. Messages answered mid-task. Calls taken while drafting something important. It feels productive. It feels modern. But what if the very behavior that makes you feel ahead is quietly pulling you behind? Multitasking has become a badge of competence. Fast replies signal engagement. Simultaneous tasks signal capability. Constant switching signals adaptability. But beneath the surface, another pattern unfolds. The brain does not truly perform multiple complex tasks at once. It toggles, rapidly, repeatedly, imperfectly, and every toggle carries a cost. The cost is rarely visible in the moment. You answer the message, return to the document, resume the thought, except you do not fully resume it. Something is missing, a thread of reasoning, a subtle insight, a layer of depth that never reforms quite the same way. This is the first hidden cost, cognitive residue. Part of your attention remains attached to what you just left, even after you switch back. The more often you switch, the more fragments accumulate. It feels like motion, but it is diluted momentum. Consider how environments are structured today. Open notifications, persistent chat windows, parallel workflows, everything invites partial engagement. Very little encourages immersion. And immersion is where meaningful work happens. There is a contradiction here. Multitasking feels faster, single tasking feels slower, but speed and progress are not identical. When attention is divided, quality declines subtly. Errors increase, revisions multiply, clarity weakens. You may finish more items, but fewer of them are excellent. The second hidden cost is decision fatigue. Every switch requires a micro decision. Continue, pause, respond now, ignore for later. These decisions seem insignificant, yet hundreds of them accumulate quietly. Energy drains not from the tasks themselves, but from the transitions between them. And transitions are where multitasking lives. Then there is the cost to memory. Deep encoding requires sustained focus. When attention fractures, information embeds shallowly. You read, but retain less. You listen, but recall less. You create, but refine less. Over time, this compounds, not in dramatic failure, in diminished sharpness. The most dangerous aspect of multitasking is that it feels effective. You are always doing something, always responding, always active. But activity masks erosion. Imagine attempting to build a structure while constantly stepping away every few minutes. You return each time, but the blueprint blurs, the vision weakens, the coherence fractures. Eventually, you complete something, but it is not what it could have been. High performers rarely advertise this, but observe them closely. They cluster communication. They mute interruptions. They create long, uninterrupted blocks, not because they lack demands, but because they understand the math of attention. Depth multiplies, fragmentation subtracts. The real cost of multitasking is not time lost in switching. It is potential lost in shallowness. Ideas that could have matured, interrupted. Insights that could have emerged, diluted. Strategies that required sustained thought, abandoned mid-formation. And because nothing visibly collapses, the habit continues. You meet deadlines, you respond quickly, you appear engaged. But internally, cognitive strain increases. Fatigue arrives sooner. Focus feels harder to access. Creative breakthroughs become rare. Not because you are incapable, because your attention is divided by design. Ask yourself something uncomfortable. How often do you sit with one demanding problem, uninterrupted, until clarity forms? Not 5 minutes, not between notifications, long enough for confusion to transform into insight. If the answer is rarely, then multitasking may not be serving you. It may be training you to avoid depth. There is a difference between being busy and being immersed, between reacting and constructing. Multitasking optimizes for reaction, but the most meaningful work requires construction. And construction demands continuity. Now consider your own patterns. Where do you switch most often? What tasks feel urgent but scatter your attention? How much of your day is spent transitioning instead of thinking? Observe without judgment. Notice the subtle fatigue that follows frequent switching. Notice the drop in quality when interruptions multiply. Then experiment, protect one block of time, one task only, no parallel engagement. See what changes. Because the hidden cost of multitasking is not merely slower output, it is the quiet shrinking of your cognitive range. And once you see that clearly, the question shifts. Not, how much can I do at once? But, what could I build? If I gave it my full attention? Consider that carefully. Then share what you discover when you choose depth over division, even briefly.